In the open, the wolf is easy to spot. Caribou are a big prize for a pack with pups to feed, but weighing up to twice that of an adult wolf, they are dangerous. This lone wolf has no choice. It desperately needs to feed.
The lone wolf doesn't announce himself. He doesn't explain his hunger. He doesn't wait for consensus. When the hunt begins, he moves with intention, calm, calculated, and relentless. That's the first rule of the lone wolf protocol: separation before domination. Before strength is respected, it is misunderstood. Before clarity is admired, it is lonely. Most people fail because they try to run with a pack that doesn't share their direction. They slow down to stay accepted. They mute their instincts to stay liked. They carry people who don't carry the same hunger. And over time, that weight dulls their edge. Wolves don't do that. When the environment weakens the mission, the lone wolf steps away. This isn't arrogance, it's survival. The lone wolf understands something brutal. Not everyone deserves access to your energy. Not everyone deserves proximity to your vision. Some people only understand comfort. Others only understand excuses. And when you're surrounded by that mentality, your potential starves quietly. So the lone wolf chooses distance, not out of hatred, but out of discipline. Silence becomes strategy. Solitude becomes sharpening. In isolation, the lone wolf rebuilds instincts. He learns to trust his own judgment again. He studies patterns. He conserves energy. He stops reacting emotionally and starts moving deliberately. This phase is uncomfortable because there's no applause, no reassurance, no safety net. But that's the point. Weakness can't hide in solitude. This is where most people quit. They mistake loneliness for failure. But the lone wolf knows better. Loneliness is temporary. Dependency is permanent. So he stays focused. He trains while others talk. He plans while others complain. He prepares while others wait. The hunt scene matters because it's honest. There's no drama, no chaos, just patience, timing, and execution. The wolf doesn't rush. He doesn't panic. He commits fully when the moment arrives. That's the mindset this protocol demands. This is not about being alone forever. This is about becoming dangerous enough to choose your circle later.
A lone wolf walks their own path not because they have to, but because solitude is where they thrive. So if you think you're a lone wolf, but you're struggling with loneliness, then perhaps you're not a true lone wolf then, are you? And certainly not a lone wolf empath, because the empathy and compassion of a lone wolf is not just on a global level, but first and foremost towards themselves. Without that piece, like I said, you're just a wounded, lonely lone wolf, and there's nothing empowering about that.
The lone wolf protocol is not about isolation for comfort. It's about isolation for clarity. There is a difference. Weak people isolate themselves to hide. Strong people isolate themselves to sharpen. The lone wolf steps away because he understands something most never will. Constant noise kills instinct. When everyone is talking, nobody is thinking. When everyone is reacting, nobody is leading. This phase is where identity is forged. When you walk alone, there's no one to blame, no one to impress, no one to lean on. Every decision reflects who you truly are. That pressure exposes flaws fast. Impatience, insecurity, ego, fear. And instead of escaping that discomfort, the lone wolf sits in it. He studies himself. He strips away habits that don't serve the mission. He becomes precise. Most people fear this stage because it's quiet. No dopamine, no validation, no distractions, just work and self-honesty. That's why so few make it through. Solitude forces you to confront what you've been avoiding. And most people would rather stay surrounded by noise than face themselves in silence. The unspoken code of the lone wolf is simple. Observe before you act. You don't reveal your plans. You don't announce your moves. You don't argue your position. You watch patterns. You listen more than you speak. You gather information while others leak it emotionally. That restraint makes you dangerous. In this phase, discipline replaces motivation. You train when no one checks on you. You improve without posting proof. You build skills quietly while others chase attention. This is where psychological dominance is created, not by force, but by preparation. When the moment arrives, you're already ready. People misunderstand lone wolves because they mistake silence for emptiness. In reality, silence is full of strategy, awareness, and intent. While others burn energy explaining themselves, the lone wolf conserves it. While others rush to be seen, the lone wolf prepares to be undeniable. This is not the final stage. This is the forge. You don't stay alone forever. You stay alone until your standards are too high for average company. And when you finally step back into the world, you don't search for approval. You select alignment.
Well, that's, you look at any bell curve, right? The fattest bit's right in the middle. And to move yourself out to the edges is to accept being alone in some regard. Alain de Botton's got this quote where he says, "Loneliness is a kind of tax we have to pay to atone for a certain complexity of mind."
Yeah.
There comes a moment when the lone wolf protocol shifts. The mission is no longer just survival or preparation. It becomes influence. But not the loud kind, the quiet kind that changes rooms without announcing itself. This is where most people get it wrong. They think power is about visibility. It's not. Power is about leverage, and leverage is built in silence. Stephen Bartlett's words matter here because they point to a truth most ignore. Understanding human nature is more powerful than trying to dominate it. The lone wolf doesn't force respect. He understands behavior, patterns, incentives. He knows when to speak, when to wait, and when to move. That awareness makes him unpredictable, and unpredictability is intimidating. At this stage, the lone wolf is no longer reactive. He doesn't chase, he doesn't prove, he doesn't compete loudly. He positions himself. He lets others reveal themselves through impatience, ego, and insecurity. While they rush to be seen, he studies the board. While they talk strategy, he executes it. This is where solitude pays dividends. Time alone sharpens judgment. It builds emotional control. It teaches restraint. The lone wolf has already fought his internal battles: doubt, fear, need for approval. So when external pressure arrives, it has nothing to attach to. That's real strength. Now the protocol evolves. You don't isolate forever. You begin to choose alignment. You surround yourself with people who match your standards, not your past. People who move with intention. People who respect silence. People who understand that results matter more than noise. This is the pack, but only after you've proven yourself alone. Most people rush into circles because they're afraid to stand alone. Lone wolves do the opposite. They earn their circle. And because of that, when they finally collaborate, it's powerful. No wasted energy, no weak links, no emotional chaos. This is the dangerous part of the lone wolf protocol. You're no longer trying to survive. You're no longer trying to be understood. You're moving with leverage, clarity, and control. And when you walk back into the world like that, people feel it before you ever say a word. The lone wolf protocol was never about disappearing forever. It was about becoming strong enough to choose when to return. The lone wolf doesn't isolate out of fear. He isolates to evolve. And once that evolution is complete, he doesn't announce it. He doesn't explain it. He moves forward with certainty, letting actions replace noise. This final image matters because it reflects the truth most people miss. Progress doesn't always look loud. Growth doesn't always look impressive in the moment. Sometimes it looks lonely. Sometimes it looks strange. Sometimes it looks like moving in the opposite direction of the crowd. But those who understand purpose know that direction matters more than approval. The lone wolf now understands balance. There are chapters in life where solitude is required, where distance is discipline and silence is survival. And there are chapters where alignment matters, where the right pack multiplies strength instead of draining it. Wisdom is knowing the difference. Immaturity is staying alone out of pride or staying surrounded out of fear. This protocol is not a personality. It's a phase, a strategic retreat to rebuild instincts, sharpen standards, and redefine identity. Once that work is done, the lone wolf no longer needs to prove independence. He chooses connections intentionally. He builds with those who move with purpose, not noise. The world is full of people running together with no direction. The lone wolf walks alone until direction is clear. Then he moves with precision. That's the difference. No speeches, no explanations, no validation, just quiet certainty. And when others finally look up and wonder how you got there, you won't answer. You'll already be moving forward.